IELTS 16. Published by Cambridge University Press and Cambridge Assessment English 2021. This recording is copyright. Test 1. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1. Part 1. You will hear a man phoning to find out about some children's engineering workshops. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 3. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 3.
Hello, Children's Engineering Workshops.
Oh, hello. I wanted some information about the workshops in the school holidays.
Sure.
I have 2 daughters who are interested. The younger one's Lydia. She's 4. Do you take children as young as that?
Yes. Our Tiny Engineers Workshop is for 4 to 5-year-olds.
What sorts of activities do they do?
All sorts. For example, they work together to design a special cover that goes round an egg, so that when it's inside, they can drop it from a height and it doesn't break. Well, sometimes it does break, but that's part of the fun. They have a competition to see who can make the highest tower. You'd be amazed how high they can go.
Right.
But they're learning all the time as well as having fun. For example, one thing they do is to design and build a car that's attached to a balloon, and the force of the air in that actually powers the car and makes it move along. They go really fast too.
Okay, well, all this sounds perfect.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 4 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 4 to 10.
Now, Carly, that's my older daughter, has just had her 7th birthday. So, presumably, she'd be in a different group.
Yes, she'd be in the Junior Engineers. That's for children from 6 to 8.
And do they do the same sorts of activities?
Some are the same, but a bit more advanced. So they work out how to build model vehicles, things like cars and trucks, but also how to construct animals using the same sorts of material and technique. And then they learn how they can program them and make them move.
So they learn a bit of coding?
They do. They pick it up really quickly. We're there to help if they need it, but they learn from one another too.
Right. And do they have competitions too?
Yes. With the Junior Engineers, it's to use recycled materials like card and wood to build a bridge. And the longest one gets a prize.
That sounds fun. I wouldn't mind doing that myself.
Then they have something a bit different, which is to think up an idea for a 5-minute movie and then film it, using special animation software. You'd be amazed what they come up with.
And of course, that's something they can put on their phone and take home to show all their friends.
Exactly. And then they also build a robot in the shape of a human, And they decorate it and program it so that it can move its arms and legs.
Perfect. So, is it the same price as the tiny engineers?
It's just a bit more. £50 for the 5 weeks.
And are the classes on a Monday too?
There used to be, but we found it didn't give our staff enough time to clear up after the first workshop, so we moved them to Wednesdays. The classes are held in the morning from 10 to 11.
Okay, that's better for me actually. And what about the location? Where exactly are the workshops held?
They're in building 10A. There's a big sign on the door. You can't miss it. And that's in Fradston Industrial Estate.
Sorry?
Fradston. That's Fradston.
And that's in Grassford, isn't it?
Yes, up past the station.
And will I have any parking problems there?
No, there's always plenty available. So, would you like to enroll Lydia and Carly now?
Okay.
So, can I have your full name?
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1. Part 2. You will hear the managing director of a company called Stevenson's welcoming a group of work experience students. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning everyone and welcome to Stevenson's, one of the country's major manufacturers of metal goods. Thank you for choosing us for your 2 weeks of work experience. My name is Julia Simmons and since the beginning of this year I've been the managing director. Stevenson's is quite an old company. Like me, the founder, Ronald Stevenson, went into the steel industry when he left school. That was in 1923. He set up this company when he finished his apprenticeship in 1926, although he actually started making plans 2 years earlier in 1924. He was a very determined young man. Stevenson's long-term plan was to manufacture components for the machine tools industry, although in fact that never came about, and for the automotive industry, that is cars and lorries. However, there was a delay of 5 years before that happened, because shortly before the company went into production, Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for hospitals and other players in the healthcare industry. So that's what we did for the first 5 years. Over the years, we've expanded the premises considerably. We were lucky that the site is big enough, so moving to a new location has never been necessary. However, the layout is far from ideal for modern machinery and production methods, so we intend to carry out major refurbishment of this site over the next 5 years. I'd better give you some idea of what you'll be doing during your 2 weeks with us, so you know what to expect. Most mornings you'll have a presentation from one of the managers to learn about their department, starting this morning with research and development. And you'll all spend some time in each department, observing what's going on and talking to people, as long as you don't stop them from doing their work altogether. In the past, a teacher from your school has come in at the end of each week to find out how the group were getting on, but your school isn't able to arrange that this year.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
OK, now I'll briefly help you to orientate yourselves around the site. As you can see, we're in the reception area, which we try to make attractive and welcoming to visitors. There's a corridor running left from here, and if you go along that, the door facing you at the end is the entrance to the coffee room. This looks out onto the main road on one side and some trees on the other, and that'll be where you meet each morning. The factory is the very big room on the far side of the site. Next to it is the warehouse, which can be accessed by lorries going up the road to the turning area at the end. You can get to the warehouse by crossing to the far side of the courtyard, and then the door is on your right. Somewhere you'll be keen to find is the staff canteen. This is right next to reception. I can confidently say that the food's very good, but the view isn't. The windows on one side look onto a corridor and courtyard, which aren't very attractive at all, and on the other onto the access road, which isn't much better. You'll be using the meeting room quite often, and you'll find it by walking along the corridor to the left of the courtyard and continuing along it to the end. The meeting room is the last one on the right, and I'm afraid there's no natural daylight in the room. Then you'll need to know where some of the offices are. The Human Resources Department is at the front of this building, so you head to the left along the corridor from reception, and it's the second room you come to. It looks out onto the main road. And finally, the boardroom, where you'll be meeting sometimes. That has quite a pleasant view, as it looks out onto the trees. Go along the corridor past the courtyard, right to the end. The boardroom is on the left, next to the factory. OK, now, are there any questions before we move?
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3. You will hear 2 students called Jess and Tom discussing their art projects. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
How are you getting on with your art project, Tom?
Okay. They gave us the theme of birds to base our project on, and I'm not really all that interested in wildlife, but I'm starting to get into it. I've pretty well finished the introductory stage.
So have I. When they gave us all those handouts with details of books and websites to look at, I was really put off.
But the more I read, the more interested I got.
Me too. I found I could research so many different aspects of birds in art. Colour, movement, texture. So I was looking forward to the bird park visit.
What a letdown. It poured with rain and we hardly saw a single bird. Much less use than the trip to the Natural History Museum.
Yeah. I liked all the stuff about evolution there. The workshop sessions with Dr. Fletcher were good too, especially the brainstorming sessions.
I missed those because I was ill. I wish we could have seen the projects last year's students did.
I suppose they want us to do our own thing, not copy.
Have you drafted your proposal yet?
Yes, but I haven't handed it in. I need to amend some parts. I've realised the notes from my research are almost all just descriptions. I haven't actually evaluated anything, so I'll have to fix that.
Oh, I didn't know we had to do that. I'll have to look at that too. Did you do a timeline for the project?
Yes, and a mind map.
Yeah, so did I. I quite enjoyed that. But it was hard having to explain the basis for my decisions in my action plan.
What?
You know, give a rationale.
I didn't realise we had to do that. Okay, I can add it now. And I've done the video diary presentation and worked out what I want my outcome to be in the project.
Someone told me it's best not to be too precise about your actual outcome at this stage, so you have more scope to explore your ideas later on. So I'm going to go back to my proposal to make it a bit more vague.
Really? Okay, I'll change that too then.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
One part of the project I'm unsure about is where we choose some paintings of birds and say what they mean to us. Like, I chose a painting of a falcon by Landseer. I like it because the bird's standing there with his head turned to one side, but he seems to be staring straight at you. But I can't just say it's a bit scary, can I?
You could talk about the possible danger suggested by the bird's look.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture of a fishhawk by Audubon I like. It's swooping over the water with a fish in its talons and with great black wings which take up most of the picture.
So you could discuss it in relation to predators and food chains?
Well, actually, I think I'll concentrate on the impression of rapid motion it gives.
Right.
Do you know that picture of a kingfisher by Van Gogh? It's perching on a reed growing near a stream.
Yes, it's got these beautiful blue and red and black shades.
I've actually chosen it because I saw a real kingfisher once when I was little. I was out walking with my grandfather and I've never forgotten it.
Oh, so we can use a personal link?
Sure.
Okay. There's a portrait called William Wells. I can't remember the artist, but it's a middle-aged man who's just shot a bird. And his expression and the way he's holding the bird in his hand suggests he's not sure about what he's done. To me, it's about how ambiguous people are in the way they exploit the natural world.
Interesting. There's Gauguin's picture, Vira Mati. He did it in Tahiti. It's a woman with a white bird behind her that is eating a lizard. And what I'm interested in is what idea this bird refers to. Apparently, it's a reference to the never-ending cycle of existence.
Wow. I chose a portrait of a little boy, Giovanni de' Medici. He's holding a tiny bird in one fist. I like the way he's holding it carefully so he doesn't hurt it.
Oh, right.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 3. Part 4. You will hear a professor of philosophy giving a talk on the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Ancient philosophy is not just about talking or lecturing or even reading long, dense books. In fact, it is something people have used throughout history to solve their problems and to achieve their greatest triumphs. Specifically, I am referring to Stoicism, which in my opinion is the most practical of all philosophies and therefore the most appealing. Stoicism was founded in ancient Greece by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC, but was practiced by the likes of Epictetus, Cato, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. Amazingly, we still have access to these ideas, despite the fact that the most famous Stoics never wrote anything down for publication. Cato definitely didn't. Marcus Aurelius never intended his meditations to be anything but personal. Seneca's letters were, well, letters, and Epictetus's thoughts come to us by way of a note-taking student. Stoic principles were based on the idea that its followers could have an unshakable happiness in this life, and the key to achieving this was virtue. The road to virtue, in turn, lay in understanding that destructive emotions like anger and jealousy are under our conscious control. They don't have to control us, because we can learn to control them. In the words of Epictetus, external events I cannot control, but the choices I make with regard to them, I do control. The modern-day philosopher and writer Nassim Nicholas Taleb defines a Stoic as someone who has a different perspective on experiences which most of us would see as wholly negative. A Stoic transforms fear into caution, pain into transformation, mistakes into initiation, and desire into undertaking. Using this definition as a model, we can see that throughout the centuries, Stoicism has been practiced in more recent history by kings, presidents, artists, writers, and entrepreneurs. The founding fathers of the United States were inspired by the philosophy. George Washington was introduced to Stoicism by his neighbours at age 17, and later put on a play based on the life of Cato to inspire his men. Thomas Jefferson kept a copy of Seneca beside his bed. Writers and artists have also been inspired by the Stoics. Eugene Delacroix The renowned French Romantic artist, known best for his painting Liberty Leading the People, was an ardent Stoic, referring to it as his consoling religion. The economist Adam Smith's theories on capitalism were significantly influenced by the Stoicism that he studied as a schoolboy under a teacher who had translated Marcus Aurelius's works. Today's political leaders are no different, with many finding their inspiration from the ancient texts. Former US President Bill Clinton rereads Marcus Aurelius every single year, and many have compared former President Obama's calm leadership style to that of Cato. Wen Jiabao, the former Prime Minister of China, claims that Meditations is one of 2 books he travels with, and that he has read it more than 100 times over the course of his life. Stoicism had a profound influence on Albert Ellis, who invented cognitive behavior therapy, which is used to help people manage their problems by changing the way that they think and behave. It's most commonly used to treat depression. The idea is that we can take control of our lives by challenging the irrational beliefs that create our faulty thinking, symptoms, and behaviors by using logic instead. Stoicism has also become popular in the world of business. Stoic principles can build the resilience and state of mind required to overcome setbacks, because Stoics teach turning obstacles into opportunity, a lesson every business entrepreneur needs to learn. I would argue that studying Stoicism is as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago, thanks to its brilliant insights into how to lead a good life. At the very root of the thinking, there is a very simple way of living. Control what you can and accept what you can't. This is not as easy as it sounds and will require considerable practice. It can take a lifetime to master. The Stoics also believed the most important foundation for a good and happy life is not money, fame, power, or pleasure, but having a disciplined and principled character, something which seems to resonate with many people today.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to Part 4. That is the end of the listening test. In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. IELTS 16, published by Cambridge University Press and Cambridge Assessment English 2021. This recording is copyright. Test 1. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only.
Unbelievable. Đúng hết nè. Cái này sai. past không phải. Sao nhớ cái này là bạn ạ? Unfortunately thì mình much less than is par with rain. We hardly see the bird. Much less use. What a letdown. Much less use. Yeah, I like all stuff about evolution here. So đọc không hiểu rồi. The project done in the past, the workshop session were good too, especially brainstorm. I missed though because I was ill. Thì thằng này không xem được workshop. I wish we could have seen the project last year. Student did. I suppose they want us to do their thing, not copy. Thế là thằng này không đồng ý. Thế không được. Vậy là hai đứa đồng ý cơ. Much less than. So what a letdown. Thất vọng. The bird park visit. What a letdown. It poured with rain. Much less used than. Tức là chê cái bird park visit so với cái much less used. Ít hữu ích hơn là trip to national kia. Someone told me it's not best to be precise about the actual outcome. I realized the note from my research were almost on just descriptions. I haven't actually evaluated. Thực sự là chưa đánh giá cái gì cả, chưa làm gì. Oh, I didn't know we had to do that too. I have to look at that. Rồi, câu này mà sai này. Buồn chưa? Không, câu này mình hơi ngờ ngợ. Không, cái 6. He set up this car when he finished. Còn đây là is like went into the steel industry when he left school. Chưa phải là founding. Rồi, although it's actually making plain là 2026. Okay. Reading. Được có 8 à. Qua được có 6.5. Bất tử ấy. Xinh. Mất 2 giây đầu, nhầm, 2 phút đầu vì ăn chả uống. Ăn táo, ăn cháo, uống nước. Trời, rồi trà. Ram Ranomafana. Đâu nhỉ? Thích bài này. Farmland. Fitting habits of bats. Đây. Đây. Fitting activity. Có đang làm ai không? Vâng. Bye bye. Đâu nhỉ? Ít evidence.
How often did you have a party when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I have never had a party before. It was because my family was not rich enough to afford a big party. So now I'm older. I can with high income. I can now have organized parties and compensate for the old self in the past. When I was a kid, bye luôn. Được, sao lại thế nhỉ? When I was a kid, I had never had a party before. It was because my family was not rich enough to afford a big party. So all my memories about the past was no cake, no big surprise party. But now I'm older, with higher income, I can now organize parties for myself to compensate for the old kid in the past. When I was a kid, không có từ compensate. Vãi luôn. To make up for when I was a kid, I never really had a party to speak of. My family didn't have the financial means to throw a big party. As such, my family memories are mostly devoid of cake or surprise parties. However, now that I am in a better position, I can throw a few shindigs for myself to make up for the lost time and celebrate the kids I once wished for. When I was a kid, I really had no party to speak of because my family were too poor to afford a big bash. I didn't have much memories of birth, of cakes and big parties. But now that I am in a better financial position, I can definitely organize big parties and make up for the missed experience. When I was a kid, I really had no party. Ok hơn. Lúc nào trôi chảy cũng là 6.5.
Do you like parties?
No, absolutely not. I don't enjoy parties. I'm more into tranquil spaces like forest or quiet places with low dense places with few people. Well, absolutely not. I don't enjoy parties. I'm more into quiet places like forest, park, or home. I find the places tranquil, refreshing, so that I can unwind and recharge my energy. Well, absolutely not. I don't enjoy parties. I'm more into No, I don't like parties at all. I prefer quiet places like forests, parks, or my home where I can relax and recharge in a tranquil atmosphere, environment. Well, I am not really a fan of parties at all. I prefer peace and quiet in serene spots like the forest, a park, or even my own home. I find these places incredibly calming and refreshing, allowing me to truly unwind and recharge my batteries. There's something about being surrounded by nature and soothes my soul and help me escape the hustle and bustle of daily life. Yes, I enjoy parties because they are a great way to socialize and meet new people. They always provide an opportunity to unwind and have fun in a lively atmosphere. Not really. I'm not a big fan of parties. I find them overwhelming and prefer more intimate gatherings where I can share meaningful conversations.
Have you ever written any story before?
No, I haven't. I have a terrible skill for writing, so no, I haven't. Writing story is not my cup of tea, so unfortunately, I haven't experienced writing any story yet. However, if I were given a chance, I would gladly take it so that I could explore my potential and find out if I have a knack for writing stories. No, I haven't. Writing story is not my cup of tea, so unfortunately, I haven't experienced writing any story yet. However, if I were given a chance, I would gladly take it. I was given a chance. No, I haven't. Writing story is not really my cup of tea, so unfortunately, I haven't dabbled in it yet. However, if the opportunities ever come knocking, I would jump at the chance to give it a shot. I would gladly take it. I would give it a shot as it allowed me to explore my creative side and see if I have a natural flair for telling stories. It's always good to step out of my comfort zone and try new things. No, I haven't written any stories before because it's not really my thing. However, if I had the opportunities, I would be eager to try it and see if I have a talent for storytelling. No, I haven't written any story before because it's not really my thing. However, if I have had the opportunities, I would be eager to try it and see if I have a talent for storytelling. Yes, I've written a few stories before, writing aloud to express my creativities and explore different ideas that I find fascinating. No, I haven't really written any story before. I find it challenging to come up with original ideas and prefer to enjoy stories created by others. No, I haven't written any story before because it's really not my thing. It's really not my thing. Like, I don't have a knack for it. It's just not my cup of tea. However, if I had the opportunities, I would be eager to try it and see if I have a talent for storytelling. If I have a talent for storytelling, yes, I've written a few stories before. Writing allowed me to express my creativities and try new ideas that I find fascinating. Explore different ideas that I find fascinating. No, I haven't really written any stories before. I find it challenging to come up with original ideas and prefer to enjoy reading others' stories. Reading stories created by others.
Do you prefer listening to stories or reading them?
Personally, I like listening to stories better because audios, I have a knack for, no, I have a flair for audio, like my preferable learning channel is through audio lingo. No. It's through audio. It's through audio. What? Honestly, I like listening to stories better because listening to stories helped me relax and calm my mind, especially when the voice of the speaker is gentle and relaxing. Honestly, I like listening to stories better because listening to stories helped me relax and calm my mind, especially when the voice of the speaker is gentle and relaxing. Thank you, Rosanne. I prefer listening to stories because it allows me to immerse myself in the narrative while doing other activities. Audios, books, and podcasts make it easy to enjoy stories on the go. Honestly, I prefer listening to stories because it's really helped me kick back and clear my mind There's something soothing about a speaker's gentle voice that can transport me to another world. When I listen, I feel like I'm soaking up every word, which allows me to de-stress and find my center. It's a wonderful way to unwind after a long day, and I truly enjoy the experience. I prefer reading stories as it gives me the freedoms to imagine the scenes and the character in my own way. Reading also helps me improve my vocabularies and focus on the details of the story. Helps me clear my mind. There's something about the speaker's gentle voice that really take me to the other world. Immerse myself in a narrative while doing other things.
What stories did you like when you were young?
Okay, let me move to this one. A quiet place that you would like to go to. No. Describe a time you made a promise. Activities.
Describe a person who helps to protect the environment.
Conservationist. What has the person done when this person does this? Who this person is, and explain why you think this person does this. Let me share with you about a person who protects the environment that I know. This person is my cousin. She is more like a younger sister to me. She is an environmentalist and a conservationist. Her job is to preserve the neighborhood air of our buildings, residents. She works in our building works in our apartment buildings. So she has contributed to making our neighborhood greener. For example, she once organized a green campaign in which she encouraged the neighborhood, the whole neighbors in our areas to collect trash for one entire day. It was a really memorable event because not only does she helps us make our neighborhood cleaners, but she also raised our spirits and unity. Her actions is really admirable, and I'm looking forward to her future activities. Let me share with you about Rồi. Đọc linh ta linh tinh. Nói linh ta linh tinh. Sự luôn. Let me tell you about a person who goes truly the extra mile to protect the environment, and that person is my cousin, who feels more like a younger sister to me. She's a dedicated environmentalist and conservationist, passionately committed to preserving the air qualities and overall well-being of our building's residents. Her work in her apartment community is nothing short of inspiring. One of her standout initiatives was when she organized a community cleanup day that encouraged all of our neighbors in our area to come together and collect trash for an entire day. This event turned out to be a breath of fresh air for the community, as it not only helped to beautify our neighborhood, but also foster a sense of communities, of unity and camaraderie among the residents. People of all ages participated, and it was wonderful to see everyone pitching in for a common cause. Her efforts go beyond just cleaning. She has this incredible ability to relay the truth and lift everyone's spirits. I genuinely admire her passion and dedication to make the world a better place. Always excited to see what new activities she has in store, as I know they will not only benefit the environment but also encourage others to take action. With her around, I feel hopeful that we can all do our part and make a significant difference. I look forward to supporting her future endeavor and participating in more events that promote sustainability and community spirit. Quá mệt.
How does travelling abroad affect young people?
Traveling abroad can affect young people positively and negatively. Regarding the positive side, traveling abroad can open up young people's mind, open their eyes to new experiences, new cultures, and new knowledge. Apart from that, young people can experience firsthand what they always see on the internet and are on TV. However, regarding disadvantages, going to the foreign countries can result in feeling of loneliness, and sometimes the sense of lacking love can destroy young people's spirit. Traveling abroad can affect young people's positively and negatively. Regarding the positive side, traveling abroad can open up young people's mind. Traveling abroad can have both positive and negative effects on young people. On the positive side, it broadens their horizons by exposing them to new culture and experiences, allowing them to see things they've only encountered online. By contrast, it can also lead to feelings of loneliness and homesickness, which may impact their emotional well-being. Traveling abroad can have both positive and negative effects. On the bright side, it can really broaden their horizons and introduce them to new experiences, cultures, and insights. Young people get the chance to see the world firsthand, which is often different from what they catch glimpses of online or on TV. However, there are downsides too. Visiting foreign countries can lead to a feeling of loneliness in times and a sense of belonging, which can dampen their spirit. Traveling abroad can have a profound impact on young people by broadening their perspectives and exposing them to diverse cultures. It helps them develop independence and confidence as they navigate new environments and interact with people from different backgrounds. This experience can also enhance their language skills and global awareness, making them more adaptable and open-minded. Broaden perspective, exposed to diverse cultures. When young people travel abroad, they often gain a deeper understanding of the world and its cultural diversity. This exposure can lead to personal growth and a greater appreciation for a different lifestyle. Additionally, it can inspire them to pursue international opportunities in their careers or education. The challenges they face while traveling, such as overcoming language barriers and adapting to new customs, can also build their resilience and problem-solving skills.
What are the advantages of working in an international company?
Well, working in an international companies can benefit people in many different ways. The first benefits that spring to my mind is their career growth. As the international companies has branches in different cultures, its staff can transit from one countries to the others, and this experience can help the employees gain different insight and perspectives, helping them grow in terms of personalities and professionalism. Apart from that, international companies provides people with more financial support, I mean higher income, as international companies are always renowned for being able to generate a huge amount of money in terms of profit. This money really benefit its staff, as they will naturally be shared with a part of the profit. Well, working in an international companies can benefit people in many different ways. The first benefits that spring to my mind is their career growth. Working in an international companies can open up worlds of opportunities for individuals. The first advantage that come to mind is the potential for career advancement. Since these companies have branches across the globe, employees can make the leap from one country to another. This experience allows them to gain various insights and perspectives, fostering personal and professional growth. Additionally, international firms tend to offer lucrative compensation packages, as they are known for raking in profits. This beneficial support truly benefits their staff, who often get a share. Working in an international company offers significant advantages such as enhanced career growth and financial benefits. Employees can gain valuable experience by transferring between different cultures, which broaden their perspectives and professional skills. Additionally, these companies often provide higher salaries due to their substantial profits, benefiting their staffs financially.
What do you think of national identity?
Honestly, I have no idea about national identity, but I will try my best to answer this question. I think I know what's an individual identity, and therefore I will use that kind of definition and make some twist to it to create a new ideas for national identities. Okay, so let's talk about national identities. I think that this identity is really important, especially for ambassadors, those who represent a country in another nation. And this identity helps them prove that they are a part of their hometown. And because of these identities, they nurture a sense of community and patriotism. Honestly, I have no idea about national identity, but I will try my best to answer this question. I think I know what's an individual identity. Honestly, I'm a bit in the dark about natural identity, but I work my best to tackle this question. I think I have a grasp for virtual. A national identity is crucial for ambassadors who represent their countries abroad. It helps them connect with their roots and foster a sense of communities and patriotism among citizens. Có bẩn lắm. Natural nation. Sao con phải đi rửa bát này, con chưa làm cái gì. National identity is. Con chưa nấu cháo cơ. Thank you. National identity is crucial as it gives people a sense of belonging and pride in their country. It encompasses shared values, traditions, and histories that unite citizens. Having a strong national identities and foster unity and encourage individuals to contribute positively to their societies. Encompass là cái gì nhỉ? Bao gồm share value. National identities is crucial as it provides people with a sense of belongings and community. It encompasses shared value, history, traditions, and customs. Thanks to national identity, people can foster their own sense of community and unity among the community. National identities is crucial as it provides people with a sense of belongings and national identity is crucial as it provides people with a sense of belonging and community. It encompasses shared value, history, traditions, and customs. Having a national identity can help people grow their sense of community and encourage people to contribute positively to the community, to their society. National identity is crucial as it provides people with.
Why do many people choose to move to big cities?
Quá mệt rồi. Thôi mình xin phép đi ngủ.